Pyre is an action RPG that brings together a heartfelt story with fast-paced, sports-like gameplay. If you're still considering whether to add Pyre to your gaming library, then I recommend you check out our review on what makes this game great for families. Otherwise, in this video, I'll go over a few general tips that'll ease you through your first campaign playthrough, as well as suggestions for how to build out your team of 9 exiles. Welcome to Buddy Up Gaming. Tip 1. Spend time on Vocations. Throughout the campaign, you'll have many opportunities to choose where your party travels before initiating a rite. There's really no wrong choice when deciding how to proceed to the ritual site. That said, I personally prefer to scope out routes that offer opportunities to improve your companion's enlightenment, or XP. Look for choices that indicate you'll save time by going that route, or that explicitly mention having time to practice your vocations. Tip 2. Focus on mentoring, then study in private. Speaking of vocations, you'll generally want to stick with mentoring to accelerate the acquisition of masteries. However, towards the end of the campaign, you may want to switch to the study in private option to gain permanent stat boosts for all your companions. We'll discuss builds later in the video, but typically you can acquire the best masteries by level 4. That means there isn't much need to keep using mentoring just to hasten the final mastery at level 5. Study in private offers options to gain a +1 boost to glory, presence, hope, and quickness, each of which can be chosen twice. Additionally, the option to increase glory only unlocks after you've exhausted the other 3 choices. If you follow this approach, focusing on mentoring first, then switching to studying in private, you should be able to use up all your vocation opportunities by the time you reach the final liberation rite. Tip 3. Use the Beyonder Crystal for warm-up. I've discussed in my video on 3 tips parents should know about gaming the importance of warming up, and that absolutely applies in Pyre. Every rite feels very consequential. If you're not fighting for the right to liberate one of your companions, then you're fighting for your pride, because I'm definitely not losing to a sap like H. Manly Tinderstov. Going to a match cold can give your opponents a head start that you might not be able to overcome. Luckily, you'll acquire the Beyonder Crystal early in your campaign. One of the services provided by Sandra is a practice rite against her cohort. Before you start your first rite of the day, squeeze in a practice round or 2 with the Beyonders to make sure you're playing at your best. Tip 4. Buy and sell liberally. Falcon Ron sells a variety of talismans that can greatly support your runs, but figuring out which ones work best with your playstyle can take some experimentation. Luckily, you won't have to worry about buyer's remorse. If a talisman doesn't work out for you, simply sell it back for a full refund and try something else. With those general tips out of the way, let's switch gears to how you choose masteries for your 9 companions. As a nomad, Hedwyn starts off as a solid generalist who can be used effectively on both offense and defense. As you round out your roster, however, he's quickly eclipsed by other companions and instead functions best as a support character. The right branch of masteries offers plenty of excellent support perks. Shared Tenacity allows contestants to regenerate stamina twice as quickly. Moon Formation increases movement speed when you possess the orb. Sacred Bond allows you to return banished allies by moving a teammate to where they were banished. And Divine Retribution increases the time opponents stay banished by 2 seconds, which is more than enough time to outmaneuver the remaining enemies and score. Next up is Jodariel, the Demon. She begins with a whopping 30 glory, making her your hardest hitting companion. However, her pitiful quickness also makes her one of the least ideal companions for scoring. The one exception is if you can use something like the Jeweled Band Talisman to give her infinite stamina. In that case, you can take Long Stride and simply rush her to the opponent's pyre. More generally, Jodariel functions best on defense. Her large aura and rush ability allow her to close gaps quickly and banish opponents before they can react. Take Relentless Vigor, Fierce Presence, and Greater Banishment to maximize that effect. Then top it off with Enduring Flame to give your own pyre an additional 35 HP. Rukey the Cur is one of the most interesting companions to play. He's easily your fastest companion at the start of the campaign, making him ideal for leading on offense. But he also charges his cast faster than any of your teammates, and those casts travel further, allowing you to snipe opponents from a distance. On lower difficulties, you can use Rukey to single-handedly clear the opposing team before diving in for the score. Grabbing Cloud Jump and Moonsault on the left branch gives Rukey 3 consecutive jumps, making him virtually unstoppable when diving toward the Pyre. On the right branch, Glory Dive increases his glory from 15 to 20, and Guiding Light allows him to return from banishment after scoring, letting you keep him active on offense for the entire right. Mae the Savage can be one of the hardest companions to use as a newcomer, because her jump and cast abilities come with built-in delays. Taking Heightened Reflex and Snap Cast removes those delays, and once that happens, she becomes an offensive powerhouse. Mae doesn't have the same quickness as characters like Rukey or Sir Gilman, but she makes up for it with a power jump that lets her leap into the Pyre from incredible distances. You can take Traitor's Flight to reduce the delay on that jump, or grab Dark Vigor to gain infinite stamina while she's holding the orb. Find an opening, and you can leap in from half court for the score. Tizo the Imp is one of 2 companions who can fly, and the first you'll recruit. That alone makes him incredibly versatile for navigating the arena and finding scoring opportunities. Combining the elusive nature mastery with his unique Haub's Wing talisman turns Tizo into a speed demon. Add Inner Glory and he can deal 25 damage to the opponent's Pyre. Interestingly, once your full roster is assembled, Tizo often shines more as a defensive character. His 17 presence gives him a larger aura than most classes, which you can take advantage of by zipping around and crashing into opponents to banish them. Only demons and saps are immune to this tactic, but given their slower speed, you can usually just work around them or rely on your teammates. Sir Gilman the Worm doesn't need much help to be effective. With a base 25 quickness, you can simply run circles around your opponents and leap in for the score. That's pretty much it. In the unfortunate scenario where your teammates get banished and you need to rely on him for defense, taking Valiant Return and Avenging Aid can help you hold things together until they return. Pamitha is the second flying companion you'll recruit, and she's easily my favorite to use. As a harp, she has one of the best cast abilities in the game, plunging forward in a straight line while remaining immune to enemy auras. Like Tizo, you can use this to crash into opponents and banish them. This strategy becomes even stronger with the Swift Flight, Strike Dash, and Greater Celerity masteries. Pamitha thrives while flying, and with a boost to quickness and stamina, she can cover the entire arena, banishing enemies and grabbing the orb for quick scores. On harder difficulties, you may still get intercepted, but a quick cast can remove the threat and keep your push going. Bertrude the Crone is another companion who excels on both offense and defense. On defense, her cast spreads out in a wide pattern. Combined with Sudden Blast and her unique Melit's Tail talisman, you can pin opponents on their side of the arena and pass the orb to your offensive leader. That leader can also be Bertrude herself. Her 11 quickness isn't remarkable, but her pounce covers a huge distance, adds Serpent Swiftness, and becomes easy to maneuver into scoring range. Hex of Defeat and Stubborn Flame are also excellent if you're playing from behind, increasing her glory and reducing the damage taken from enemy scores. Volfred the Sap joins your squad after a few Liberation rites, and he can be incredibly valuable, especially if you no longer have Jodariel. Saps can create saplings with their own auras. Placing these in choke points can zone enemies and simplify your defense. Volfred's Blink ability also functions similarly to Jodariel's Rush, letting you surprise and banish opponents. If you prefer a more aggressive defensive style, taking Sturdy and Unstable Sapling allows you to more proactively banish opponents. On the other hand, if you'd rather lean into offense, Final Kindling and Miracle Kindling effectively increase your total HP by 50, giving you more breathing room to win the right. Now that we've covered builds for all 9 companions, let's close things out with a cheesy lineup that can guarantee you a straightforward victory. This build relies on using Sir Gilman's Stunning Claim Mastery, which freezes you and your opponents for a full 3 seconds. Ordinarily, this effect is pretty meaningless, since you and your opponents will just sit there doing nothing. However, the key detail is that this effect isn't applied to contestants returning from banishment, like when Rukey uses Guiding Light to return after a score. More generally, you can replicate this effect using a fully upgraded Prayer Beads talisman. On true Nightwing difficulty, this talisman is unlocked right at the start, but on lower difficulties, you'll have to get lucky to find it. Stick Prayer Beads on Bertrude, and activate her Feral Curse Mastery at the very start. This turns the opposing team into Howlers with no auras, so you can just slither Bertrude right into the goal. At the start of the next round, activate Sir Gilman's Stunning Claim Salute. Because of the short delay Prayer Beads requires for contestants to return from banishment, Bertrude won't be affected by the freeze. Switch control to Bertrude once she pops in, and slither onwards once more to the goal. Rinse and repeat, and you'll secure yourself an effortless victory. So what should you take away from all of this? At its core, Pyre rewards flexibility. Whether it's rotating your companions, experimenting with builds, or adapting your strategy mid-right, the game constantly encourages you to try something new. And that's part of what makes it such a great experience for families. There's room to learn, room to experiment, and plenty of opportunities to talk through decisions together. If you're just starting your journey through the downside, these tips should help you hit the ground running. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this guide, please leave a like and subscribe to Buddy Up Gaming for more family-friendly gaming content. Take care out there.